Movie leftovers.
Hey, we are back.
We're here. What's going on, man?
We are here. I'm great, man. How are you doing?
Good. It's different. We normally do this on Thursdays. It's Friday, so I'm kind of going
It
cross-eyed.
is Friday.
We had some technical difficulties yesterday, but the week is done. It's weekend
The week is
time.
done.
And that's exciting, man. I'm hyped. I'm good.
Me too, man. I am so stoked for the weekend. I'm gonna go do some fun stuff. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, man?
I'm gonna try and unplug this weekend.
That's a good
I'm
idea.
gonna try and tonight I'll be playing on twitch.tv
Nice.
/Baya Networks, and I'm gonna be probably going back in time playing a little Diablo 3 and just unwinding, but this weekend gonna not be around computer screens and phone screens, unplug, probably go ride the motorcycle, something. Gonna be
Nice,
good.
man.
Yeah.
That'll be great. That'll
Yeah.
be great. Right on. Well, we have got quite the thing to talk about.
Yeah. We've actually arrived.
We have arrived. We have been one with the Seagal. We are talking about our movie this week, and it is Under Siege.
It is
the classic film from 1992.
Might just be the best movie ever made. Might be.
I think we're gonna have some opinions here, buddy.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell a little bit about what the story is?
You give them the story. I'll give you my initial impressions after we lay the foundation for this epic American tale.
Yeah. So basically, the story is Steven Seagal plays the cook of the USS Missouri.
That's right.
And it's being decommissioned,
mm-hmm.
and they're having one last hurrah on the ship. It's just a celebratory thing. It's nothing major. And as the party is going, all of a sudden a terrorist group attacks and takes over the ship. As they do, takes over the ship. It is led by one Mr. Tommy Lee Jones, and it is up to Steven Seagal, the cook, to fight off the terrorists and save the day.
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Early thoughts, right?
Yes.
Who writes these plots sober? Nuclear weapons security less important during key birthday parties for senior staff members on the ship. Apparently, nobody stands fast when an officer is on deck. Gary Busey was not dismissed when leaving the commanding officer's quarters, etc., etc. Steven Seagal actually wearing Nikes. You can see it when he's in the meat locker. Seems like a dress code problem.
Yeah.
Also, the military lets civilians roam around the ship with dozens of guns and welders and shit. Hey, here's where things were an aha moment for me. And I was sober when I had this aha moment. This movie is a prophecy.
Oh.
It's prophetic. Now,
how so?
I've been on this for some time on my podcast about the disgraced Nissan Motor Company former executive Carlos Ghosn.
Okay.
Carlos Ghosn was on basically facing trial for a bunch of money embezzlement and mismanagement, things like that at Nissan. So he's at a home in Japan on house arrest. And he is snuck out of his own birthday party while on house arrest inside of a box from one of the musicians. Then he was
that's right.
smuggled to 3 different countries in the shipping container and then popped out of this box in Lebanon, his home country where there's also no extradition. And I thought, this is fucking perfect. This is exactly what he watched to make that happen, because that must be how they got all their weapons in to a military facility that floats around on the ocean. So why not just get out of a highly sensitive, controlled, and secure environment in the same fashion? It's worked. This was his inspiration. I figured it out. He had to have seen Under Siege and just really played into it. It works. It works for Under Siege. It works for Carlos Ghosn. He got the idea from this movie. He had to have. I'm standing to that. It was prophecy, dude. And that just made this all the more special to me. Those are my early thoughts.
Well, I'm glad that you were one with the prophecy and you enjoyed it.
Yeah, in accordance with the prophecy.
In accordance with the prophecy, baby.
Yeah.
For me, I think that this was maybe the dumbest film we've watched, and that includes
Sure.
Planet of the Vampire Women.
Sure.
It is so ridiculous, so all over the top. It makes no freaking sense at all whatsoever. I don't think Tommy Lee Jones was acting. I think that was just cocaine. Same with Gary Busey.
I do too. Now, Gary Busey, I don't. I think that's just who
Well,
he
that's
is.
just Gary Busey being Gary Busey.
Yeah, but Tommy Lee, I think he had a little booger sugar for about 3 months and forgot he made a movie in there. And
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. The costuming in this film is ridiculous.
Mhm.
I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is supposed to be dressed as a rocker because he's supposed to be, his cover is that he's part of a band, and he
He's in a
looks like the
Canadian
most,
tuxedo the whole time, dude.
yes, the most stereotypical rocker that you've ever rockered in
Dude,
your
he's
whole
Bad
life.
Billy.
He's Bad Billy.
He's
Yes,
fucking Bad Billy.
Bad
They
Billy.
had the whatever those were, the studded, like that studded belts are made out of that they had clipped into his jacket, the whole 9 yards, the bandana. It was glorious. It was fucking glorious.
Yes.
And I like Tommy Lee Jones, but you're right. I think it was just like he's eating breakfast off a mirror in the morning in his trailer, and he's like, "What? I'm on the call sheet. Let's go."
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at the Rotten Tomato score. We are looking at a solid 79% on the tomato meter, which is amazing to me. While the audience is a little less forgiving at 62%.
Yeah,
It's still pretty decent.
bit of a dive there. Oh yeah. Critics' consensus: a well-directed action thriller that makes. Oh, you took it off screen.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me put it back on.
I'm like, a well-directed. What the fuck did that just say?
Here it is.
Makes most of its confined setting. Under Siege marks a high point for the early '90s action, and it stars spotty filmography. Yeah, that's a real kind way of saying that our boy's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, a little bit,
Mr. Seagal.
Mr. Seagal is quite the strange dude. It was written by J.F. Lawton, who has written other treasures such as Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman, Mistress, Blank Man, and Under Siege 2: Dark Territory.
Yeah.
He also wrote the DOA Dead or Alive movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another treasure. And it's.
Do you want a piece of? Do you want a piece of irrelevant and mostly useless news about this film?
Yes, give it to me.
Okay, 2021. The Cut released this statement: a reboot of the 1992 Steven Seagal action film Under Siege is in the works at Warner Brothers for HBO Max, with Indonesian actor, and I'm going to fuck this up, so I apologize in advance, Timo Tjahajanto, I believe is how you say that, or Tjahajanto. He's the dude that wrote that action thriller Kate on Netflix. Anyway, Umar Aleem, his working partner, wrote it. They developed the pitch for the reboot together. The original Under Siege starred Steven Seagal as Casey Ryback, ex-Navy SEAL turned cook, who's the only person who could stop a group of terrorists when they seized control of a U.S. battleship. Then it starred Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Busey. It is currently unknown if Seagal will have any role in the version. It goes on to spit out a bunch of hypotheticals. Yeah. Which gives a shit. But
I did have that as my trivia. The other bit of trivia I do have is that Steven Seagal does not sport his traditional ponytail.
He doesn't.
And that's because the Navy does not allow hair to be longer than 4 inches. So it would not fit. So he didn't. At least he committed.
But you can rock Nikes with your BDUs, and you can have bracelets on.
Exactly. That's all
as shown in the movie. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfectly fine.
Reviews wise, we do have one negative review from Ryan H. at only half a star according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Let's go.
And his review is, I hate everything Seagal does, 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Rough, Ryan, rough.
That really describes the movie in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Seagal show.
It is.
Actually, that's incorrect. That's hyperbolic. There are lots and lots and lots of pieces of this film that have nothing to do with Steven Seagal. In fact, he's honestly not in the scenes as much as Tommy Lee Jones or Busey. So,
Well,
wonder how much they had to cut.
Delicately. Yeah, my thought is he was supposed to be in the film a lot more.
Yep.
But our boy is not what you call charismatic.
He's not charismatic
he,
unless he's around the ladies, apparently.
right, that's the only time. And so when he's not around the ladies, he's very stone-faced.
Mhm.
So if I was the director, yeah, I would put Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones on a little bit more. Yeah, snip, indeed.
We lost a little on the cutting room floor. I'm sure of it. Yeah,
I'm sure of it too. However, though, Ethan G. Over on Rotten Tomatoes did love the film. He gave it 5 stars.
Oh, let's go, Ethan.
Movie. He says, "Great movie. Love the action." Hey, if Ethan's a happy camper, then I think we're good.
Riveting reviews from both of them. I learned a lot.
Right? Haven't we? Well, tell you what. Why don't we take a break and then let's get to our reboots, remakes, sequels, whatever it is we're gonna do, and we'll get right back.
Okay.
And we're back.
We're back, baby. We're back.
We're back, baby.
Movie Leftovers, Under Siege. Hey, before we get going,
Yeah.
how much did this turd make? I don't think we got into the numbers.
Yeah, we did not get into the numbers. The budget was $35 million.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know where the money went, but
the Navy.
Yeah, the Navy. How much do you think that it made on top of that?
Well, given the time and the push, I'd say it probably cracked 100.
Okay. You are correct. It made 156 million. 156.6 million.
Yes, sir.
So,
that's a lot more than it should have. Who am I kidding? It's a prophecy movie.
It is a prophecy
movie of our time.
It's something. Here, let me find that website that I found last time that will calculate the.
Oh, this is going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, as you're pulling it up, I'll explain to those listening that might not be watching.
Yeah.
This is something that is basically a calculator that adjusts for inflation, right? So he's going to factor in the number that it was back in our case, 1992, for this film, and then it's going to spit out what that would have cost by today's standards and made by today's standards.
I do not believe this amount of money. So let me just show it to you on the screen. So 156.6 million in 1992 is worth 331 million. 0.2.
In what? In yen? Jesus, that's
dollars.
A huge jump. Yeah.
That's
cumulative price change 111 and 0.55%.
Yeah, that's inflation, baby.
Yeah.
That's 30 years of inflation right there. That's not really that long, and it's that much of a value difference. It's crazy.
That's why our generation is having trouble buying homes.
Indeed. Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother thing.
That's another podcast topic.
That is another podcast.
All right, am I at bat first? I don't remember. I think
you go first, baby.
I go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Exact same plot.
Okay.
Exact same actors.
Reboot? Or kind of?
Reboot. Okay. Exact same actors. Okay. Right at the moment that the terrorists start to take over, right? The first, who's the most senior ranking officer in the ship, and then they blow them away. All the guns come out. At this moment, pirates that have been surveilling the ship from outside around the ocean also notice that their guard is down. It's time to pounce. They have the same idea. Okay, so we have terrorists raiding the boat. Pirates begin to surround the ship amidst the chaos. Now nobody knows who's playing who. The military's freaked out because they think they're all on the bad side.
Hold on. When you say pirates, do you mean like Somali pirates, like modern pirates?
Modern pirates.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
No, modern pirates.
Okay. Modern pirates. Okay.
Stay with me. Simultaneously, as the pirates begin to board the ship, protesters of pirates dressed as Pirates of the Caribbean pirates surround the original pirates that are about to board the ship to take on the terrorists that have boarded the ship to take on the U.S. military. Then the skies open. Alien invasion. Now's the time. The only thing they were worried about were those Tomahawk missiles on that ship that were coded in the magic nuclear reactor.
Yeah, the magic nuclear codes, right.
100%. The aliens are trying to take over, as the LARPer pirates are trying to take over the real pirates. They're trying to take over the terrorists. They're trying to take over the U.S. military ship.
It's a problem within a problem within a problem.
Exactly. Okay. Steven Seagal looks into the camera and says, "Everyone dies." And then a 25-minute long fight montage breaks out where we learn that Aikido hand-to-hand combat will literally dispatch anyone from anywhere or any dimension, because he throttles the aliens, he throttles the terrorists. Tommy Lee Jones kills a few of them. The LARPer pirates think this is all a big mistake. They're only here for a protest. Nobody really knows. There's news coverage. Steven Seagal kills literally everyone in a whirlwind, and we're going to call it Under Siege. And Under Siege of the Siege of the Siege of the Siege of the Siege. And I'm keeping it exactly how it is and adding that much more to it because I don't think this movie had enough.
What else are you adding? Other than
a 25-minute long fight montage.
Okay.
Right? Aliens.
Sorry, I heard that is you're going to add even more on top of what everything else.
Pirates, and then other types of pirates.
I mean, I love it, dude. I love it.
Seriously, I tried to rework this into something that was a little more modern, and I'm like, that's too Jason Bourne. That's too this. That's too that.
Yeah.
I hate every aspect about this script. I just none of it makes sense. You're not going to be successful in that. I think when General Orumov and Xenia Onatop in the James Bond GoldenEye movie abscond with that helicopter because they posed as the Canadian pilots at that air show that they were supposed to do the demo on, is almost more feasible with the security clearance that they were actually to pull that off than what we saw in Under Siege. None of it is ever going to... You would get shot out of the sky if you don't have the right Imperial codes, like even back in Star Wars times needed to have before landing a speeder or a starship of any kind. So just the fact that this happened and we had to suspend that much disbelief, I say fuck it. I'm pouring a little more sauce on top of it, and I'm just going to have a lot of fun with it because I kind of think that's the only reason Tommy Lee Jones and Steven Seagal were in this movie in the first place. But how in something that ridiculous could you recast the characters they portrayed, especially Gary Busey?
Okay. That's a good call.
This was cast really well for what it was for an early 90s action movie. And we're going to go back to this because inevitably we're going to get to the Van Dammes of the world when we do this show and the Schwarzenegger movies and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I really, really had a tough time with this one. Those ones I can seem to at least put a smile on my face and enjoy the carnage. This was just horse shit, dude.
Right.
It was so fucking bad. And I added and added and added because I think if you want to remove something, you got to add a lot more.
Okay. Right.
That's
okay. That's good.
Siege.
That's good, man. I like your pitch.
Of a siege of a siege of the siege.
Of a siege.
Yeah.
So for mine, right? I also went with the remake, or just a remake.
Yeah.
I have replaced the nukes for some sort of drone system.
Okay.
My idea is that
you were going to say ham sandwiches, and then the cook had to get out and fight for the right one.
Right. No, my idea is that even though it's an older ship, it somehow can connect to some military network that can then connect to drones, and the drones are like worldwide, right? There's different stockpiles of drones. So the danger isn't just to Hawaii, it is literally international danger. So that's why it's kind of a big deal. Same basic storyline. I would tighten it up, of course, but I have done some recasting.
Let's go.
I would change. All right. So let's start with the. We'll go from the bottom up.
When my recasting, real quick, got to Rob Schneider, I stopped remaking the film and just said, "Fuck, we're using the same cast." So please go ahead.
Okay, so I tried to take mine a little bit more seriously. I try to modernize it a little bit. So for Miss, what was it, Miss January or Miss whatever
Sure.
month? Yeah, Erica, whatever her name was, character name was. I put
Yep.
Cameron Dove
Oh, okay.
because she's younger. She's an actress. I figured she's a good fit for that. For Captain Adams, who's basically there for like 2 scenes and then gets killed.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw a bone to the dads out there. So I put Mark Hamill on there. You might know him from NCIS.
Yep, I do.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
really hoping you'd say Sean Bean so we could continue to fuck that guy over and make him die in every movie, even when we recast him. But
yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that would have been good. That would
Yeah.
have been good. No, I went with Mark Hamill. For Commander Peter Krill, who was Gary Busey's role, now I'm changing things up. Now I'm making things a little bit different.
Sure.
For that guy, I wanted somebody who's mature but not old, but you could believably believe that he's probably somebody who's been looked over and hates the fact and is resentful, right?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the character motivation I had from the film. So I went with the new Captain America, Anthony Mackie, aka Papa Doc.
I like that a lot. The other
Yeah.
side of that thought was weird about the original one that we just watched was that, yeah, he's pissed and he's looked over, but the archetype they captured was he's crazy like the Joker in Batman.
Yeah. They needed somebody more like Anthony Mackie.
He does not a true believer for whatever the fuck that would mean according to the script. He doesn't buy into Tommy Lee Jones' theory. He's just psycho, and that's why it was like this movie's
and
so
that
bad.
motivation doesn't make sense either.
No,
Yeah,
I like that Anthony Mackie. All right, I'm on board.
yeah. Now for William Stranks, Tommy Lee Jones' character, somebody who's out there, who's older. You can believe he's been burned out. You can believe the system has just screwed him over. I think I wanted to go with somebody who's probably felt that, who's felt that rage, who's somebody who's been caged, a Nick Cage, if you will. Yeah, baby. Nick Cage.
I'm just gonna hire you to do all the intros for everyone for the rest of time. Someone who feels Cage, someone who is Nick Cage. Yeah.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, so are we getting face off Nick Cage? Like,
oh no, I mean that's ideally what I want.
Okay, I'm totally on board with this. I'm totally there.
And now for Casey Ryback,
let's go.
Character Steven Seagal plays. I wanted to modernize that, so I wanted to bring someone in. This guy is he's an up and coming actor. He's not as well known, but he's getting there. Henry Golding.
What's he been in?
He was Snake Eyes in the new Snake Eyes movie.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Dude. All right.
Yeah.
So, but same backstory. He's just going to be a lowly cook after being a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, same idea.
Silver Star and all that.
Yeah, a Mary Sue in the kitchen, basically, because he can do everything.
Are you keeping lines in there about pull my fucking pies out of the oven, stuff like that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I would do a scene where like maybe he saves one of the pies after killing the terrorist.
He has to, and then like eats it and was like, "It's a damn good pie." Something.
Yeah.
Everybody dies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Let's go. Okay.
Maybe he eats the pie and says that's a damn good pie, and then later he hooks up with the girl and he says that's a damn good pie. Like you could do a callback.
So, are you gonna make her as campy in this one as she was in the first one, where it's
I
like,
don't think it's campy.
Yeah, I'm here. I took pills. I don't remember. I'm terrified. I'm following you. Now I'm a commando. In like 30 to 40 minutes of this movie, that's the leap she took within 2 hours of straight.
No, my plan is I'm gonna give her like a little bit more to do than just walk around and carry equipment.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna and why not? Let's cheese this up, right? So after Casey Ryback kills Nick Cage, and the drones are still going and they're going to their targets, that's when Erica will then hit the keyboards and announced to everybody that she took some computer classes at community college, and she's got this, and she'll be able to hack the military equipment and save us all.
That's the way.
Yeah.
I like it. One of the other things that I kind of took away from this, like if I was to actually write a script for this, there's an awful lot more women in the Navy now than there clearly was in '92 when they shot this, because the whole feeling of when she gets off the helicopter and it's the every shipmate, every seaman, if you will, on that boat did the whole thing with, like,
right,
like that's absolutely not how things are nowadays and stuff.
No.
I personally know women in the Navy, like in real life, so
Yeah.
like I don't know, that shit was so far fetched and so
Even
stylized
when it
for
was
the time.
far-fetched. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I mean, when did A Few Good Men come out? '95.
Something like that.
I mean, to
But
me,
yeah,
the main
man,
character's
but
a fucking major or whatever she is in the
right.
Like, come on. So yeah, I looked at all that stuff and I chuckled, and it was like, okay, this is a Seagal movie, but there's a level to me where Seagal movies are kind of even lower than the campiest of,
Oh, for sure.
Stallone and Schwarzenegger and all those guys. And then I did write another script that I was like, oh, I'll just get time era relatable. Now it turned out to be The Expendables. I was like, oh, they did make this movie a bunch of times.
Right.
I have
and they're going to make another one.
4
And they're
pages
gonna
of
make
notes
another one.
scratched out. Yeah. And I got to fucking Rob Schneider as the bad guy, and I'm like, we're just going aliens and pirates and more pirates at this
Aliens
point.
and pirates, baby.
Because that's what this movie actually is. Yeah.
Right.
No, I love that,
train
dude.
wreck. Yeah. So people will be, let us know on social media which one you like better.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, I picked the last few movies. What do you want to do next?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So I have some messages out for some homies that may or may not take next week's slot and the week after, and I've left 2 movies up to them. One has already been selected, but we just haven't landed on the time slot. The other one's kind of at large. So I'm trying to think of, like, is there something that's kind of new-ish?
Okay.
Or that's trending right now. Like, we could do a period piece for right now. Like, what's trending on Netflix that you maybe haven't seen yet? It would be an interesting watch, or that you're dying to watch again that you've seen before. And I meant to text this to you yesterday when we were going to air the show, but we had all kinds of, like, tech problems, and then I forgot about it because I was doing other things. But is there something that jumped off the page that's like, I'd love to rewatch that, or it's something new that I want to, tune in for, something like that? Because if you leave it to me, I'm going to do, like, ninja related stuff, or like sci-fi related stuff, or those kinds of things. But we haven't touched rom-coms yet. We haven't done the Harry Met Sally type of show. Yeah. We haven't done any of those. We haven't done any, like, book pieces yet that have been moved, like a Lord of the Rings or a big anything. So, like, the world's our oyster. I could pick something silly, but I was actually going to run this by you and be like, what's topping charts or trending or anything topical that you might be interested in doing? Otherwise, I'm going to hit you with, like, Lord of the Rings.
Charts yet. I don't know off the top of my head, but I just googled one rom-com. It is on Netflix. It's part of the subscription. It's from 2003. So not older, but still How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay.
With Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson.
You want to do How to Lose a Guy? Because the next one I pick. The next one I pick is going to rhyme with Fast and the Furious #1. So if you want to do Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I'm here for it. If not,
let's lose a guy in 10 days.
Let's lose a guy in 10 days. Okay.
We'll do that. Yeah. So
that's our rom-com, Lose a Guy in 10 days. The other thing too, let's see, how many more weeks do we have of this podcast before we hit the month of November? Like 3? 2?
I think 2.
2 more. Okay, so guests notwithstanding, toward the end of the month, we might think about doing a Halloween type of movie to review and bring some people along with that too, because it's the season for holiday films, right? So,
dude, I love my spooky films. You know that, and I've got some ideas.
All right, because I don't, so you'll be taking the reins on that one. It'll be
Okay.
Daniel take the wheel because I will probably piss my pants. I don't like scary movies. So How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is coming up next week. Right here on Movie Leftovers. We're going to break it down. We're going to rewrite it, maybe. Recast it, maybe. Who the fuck knows what we're going to do. But it's going to be exciting. Or sequels. That's another thing. I haven't talked to you about that. Like, what if we keep a movie but get so inspired by how it was that we just go write a totally different sequel right off the bat? I mean, you started to, I think the second show we did, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right.
Whatever you want to do. So.
And it's up to you too. So please follow us. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch Live right now. You can check us out on Spotify and wherever else you get your podcasts, Apple, wherever that is. And then I don't know if we have a email address or any of that shit yet. So
not yet. We got an Instagram. We've got a Twitter, a TikTok.
There it is.
All that stuff, man. So
there it is.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
All right.
Another highly successful movie, Leftovers, bro. I can't wait for next week.
Indeed. These leftovers have been reheated, baby.
And then they blew up in the microwave because it turned out they were bombed.
Blew up in the microwave because Tommy Lee Jones and his terrorists attacked us all.
Yeah. He just knew the microwave was the fuse and the trigger, you know?
That's right. That's right. All right, man. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next week.
We'll see you next week.